Welcome back, let's see how round 2 goes. We have an interesting hand with 2 islands and Gavany Township, so we are missing a plains to cast Selfless Cathar, but also a forest additionally to activate the township. However, with Silent Departure, Mineshrieker and the equipment, I think we have more than enough time to, get going. Now any blue spells are fine. I think I'm dropping the dagger here. The information advantage of dagger isn't as important as that of Blazing Torch, and I might be forced to have it available. Now I need to drop Gavany Township probably before I can activate it, but as long as I don't have either of the lands, I don't have to show it. Now I drew another island, and your Ranged Assistant becomes a 4/1 with the help of the dagger. So it's basically between getting down Mineshrieker or attacking for 4 against a Rebuke, Midnight Haunting, Village Bellringer mana. So I think equipping the Assistant is right, but only after we've dropped Mineshrieker. That would have been a good draw as well. Midnight Haunting is a little bit bad because our creatures have 1 toughness only. But Mineshrieker is still a very good card. If he goes on the offensive here, we can get him pretty good with the help of Silent Departure. Now, Gavany Township doesn't really do much for us, but we need the mana to Mineshrieker, and I think using Silent Departure to deal some damage to him now is pretty good. The question is if we also activate the Mineshrieker to try to deal some additional damage, or if we rather just drop Stitcher's Apprentice. I think that, oh, he has a Snapcaster Mage as well, so that's something to keep in mind. I think that activating Mineshrieker has probably a higher potential than getting Stitcher's Apprentice into play, but Stitcher's Apprentice might deal 1 more damage next turn, so that's why I'm going to drop it instead of activating Mineshrieker. That's simply because we are probably activating Mineshrieker next turn, or bouncing again with the Silent Departure. Stitch Drake is also not the best against Silent Departure, but he has some ways to deal with it. So Mineshrieker can't attack or block anymore. That's okay. And he's not that aggressive anymore, now that we have dealt him some damage. This is also nice, we can immediately throw Mineshrieker into Stitcher's Apprentice. We also have quite a lot of mana, and we do our white, so of course we don't want to trade Deranged Assistant for a Spirit token. That's pretty obvious. But what we might want to do is equip a Homunculus. We don't need to mill anymore, and having a 4/2 seems pretty good. So I'm dropping Selfless Cathar, and then I can still upgrade my Mineshrieker into a 2/2 and equip it. We could trade for the Spirit with our Deranged Assistant, in fact, because now we have our 5th mana and the Deranged Assistant isn't going to do much more for us. But with Gavany Township, any forest is going to mean that creatures are in general going to be pretty good. So I also don't see any reason to mill at this point. I'm not too scared of him going all out aggressive with his flyers, but he does. I don't think he can afford to do that currently, but maybe it's his best line of play with the additional blocker in hand. I don't know what his plan is concerning blocking. It's with a play like this, it's more likely that he's just trying to race us, despite us having the silent departure. And the only question is, how do we best make use of this situation? We are constrained on mana, sadly. So with 6 mana available, it's probably best to drop Makeshift Mauler and make sure that his block is as difficult as possible for him. The Homunculus can attack into Abbey Griffin anyway, so I think we don't want to drop Claustrophobia this turn, but only next turn. But we want to make it as painful for him as possible to not block with Abbey Griffin. So Selfless Cathar is a good card, but it's the only human we can play currently, and I think we should be fine. Either way, if he blocks, he's lost most of his clock, and if he doesn't, we deal him 6. So somehow he's confident in his ability to just race us, but I think we can take another 7 and then start to take down his creatures, which might be a little optimistic. Now, the alternative would be to take away 3 of his the potential for him to deal 3 damage, but we can't really do that just because he's going to drop a 1/4 and we need 1 more attacker for that. So he's going to attack us for 7, we go down to 5, then we stop this one from attacking, we go down to 1. And then hopefully we might have enough pressure to handle his attack. It's very possible that this doesn't work out as expected, but we know for a fact that he's not going to be able to kill us if he doesn't have some more another spell or something. Okay, another blocker is a problem though. The priest is quite nice, but it's probably too slow at this point. He's at 9, so what are our attacks? If we attack with everything, he's blocking 2 of the ground guys, and probably he blocks with the Griffin as well. Being at 9, he can't really he can't take both of the 4 power creatures. He has to block at least 1, and the Mauler is a problem for him as well. So the fact that I can drop Claustrophobia and Abyssinian Priest means that I really have to think about what to do. I can't afford to take 5 on the swing back. But if I Claustrophobia this, he has to block both of these. But I'm close to killing him, but not there. So I probably just have to accept the fact that he's going to be able to block quite nicely here, and then hope that my priest is going to help win me the game. Yeah, this is not the best best position to be in, but I think I just attack here with quite a lot of creatures, and then I see how he blocks. The question is, if I attack with Stitcher's Apprentice, does he have a good block involving Silver Chase Flocks blocking the Apprentice? But if he does that, he's taking quite a lot of damage. Or he has, well, then his block would probably be Fox on the Apprentice, Scarp on Selfless Cathar, and Abbey Griffin on Makeshift Mauler. Because, well, if I attack with Deranged Assistant as well, he might not even have a good attack at all, a good block at all. But then he might also try to kill me on the attack back. Yeah, I think I can go all in and make his decision the difficult one. So he decided to save his Abbey Griffin, which means that I get through the highest amount of damage. And of course, this is kind of what I wanted. And it gives me the chance to bring him down to 5. He loses his 2 creatures, and I drop both Claustrophobia and Abyssinian Priest. Which means that I can play Silent Departure and activate the Priest next turn, if everything works out. So now I Claustrophobia Stitch Drake, of course. He's probably expecting me to Silent Departure it, in fact. The way he kept attacking me could also mean that he has something like Moment of Heroism, but that beats me anyway, so... So now he's decided to play much more defensively. And we drew a Moment of Heroism, which is huge in this setting. And we probably don't have to expect anything from him to handle the moment. Which means that we are not even flashbacking Silent Departure, and we are keeping up Abyssinian Priest to tap something. But we probably just want to get in there and attack for a lot of damage. So we need 2 power creatures. We equip Stitcher's Apprentice and then just attack with our good guys. Keeping open Deranged Assistant. No, actually, we are also attacking with Deranged Assistant. He doesn't have Moment of Heroism, because he would have played it. And most other spells as well. So I'm expecting him to hold something weak. I don't know why he concedes here. It's still a very close game. But of course he doesn't have very many good blocks. So I didn't even need the Moment or the Priest. Next up, we have Sideboarding. Sensory Deprivation, probably good card against blue-white evasion. Frightful Delusion, Lost in the Mist, not so much on the draw. Cobbled Wings could be an alternative. He has probably air dominance in this matchup. So any kind of help in this regard is good. Spare from Evil, of course, not very good against him. I liked most of my cards in this matchup. I think Spectral Rider is probably one of the worst ones, because the Intimidate is not going to work and it's also the most difficult to cast. So Maybe we switch Spectral Rider for Sensory Deprivation to make the racing a little more easy for us, especially here because he has cards like Stitch Drake. Yeah, that seems about right. He's playing first and keeping, and we have to think about this hand. It has a Stitcher's Apprentice and 2 Thraben Sentries. We can do some stuff with our equipments. It's a pretty greedy hand, but I'm still keeping it on the draw. Now, once again, dropping the dagger to save some mana. And there is Invisible Stalker. At least we have the dagger. Unruly Mob is not a very powerful card. So we have 2 Thraben Sentries. We definitely want the Selfless Cathar in play, but we might also want the Blazing Torch. I don't really want to use Stitcher's Apprentice right now. Also not attacking for 1 because I want to be quite defensive against his Stalker. We drew out of our mana problems, and these Thraben Sentries are going to be quite powerful. Mask of Avacyn, not a big problem. Increasing the clock only by a little bit. Claustrophobia is not something we can cast, but I think... Oh, we don't even have to equip, because if he blocks we have some very nice effects. Meaning that he probably can't block, and if he can't block it means that we can drop another sentry. Of course he might also block, then we still have to decide what to do. So he blocks with Armored Scarp, meaning that if I sacrifice one of my creatures, I get I get quite a lot of value out of this. So I'm going to go for the most offensive play I can think of, sacrificing Stitcher's Apprentice itself. And in addition, I think I'd rather Blazing Torch Unruly Mob. Or I could trade it with Selfless Cathar, but I think it's actually better to trade it. Who knows if we need Blazing Torch later. Invisible Stalker hasn't been dangerous at all. Now he might even try to block our Cathar with it. But we managed to have another Thraben Sentry up, so now there isn't really any blocks left for him. And we are flipping our second sentry here. I probably should have equipped the 2/2 because it costs me less to activate it. Not losing an attack with the militia. He could equip his mob, but it's only a 4/5, and my hand is very good if he doesn't drop anything. So he doesn't play anything, which means he has his own Midnight Haunting. And this could be a small problem if the mob grows very large. but I think this is the point where we just try to deal as much damage to him as possible and keep up Midnight Haunting as well. He's very far from killing us, so we can afford to play very aggressively. Okay, it's Smite the Monstrous, so it's also good that we diversified our attack, and he's trading these, which is also great for us. Meaning that he doesn't really have anything left to block the militia with. Okay, now he does, but it's a zombie. I don't know if he didn't think about that. He's dead on board. If we just it's a zombie, we have a 5 power creature, yeah. So we equip the torch and the dagger. And that's it. Yeah, I think he missed that interaction. See you in round 3.